Welcome to DayZ. So, earlier today I spawned in at this exact location. And it occurred to me that I have never shown you guys what I consider to be the best loot run in all of DayZ. And this is for all players, and I think players that generally do this are very experienced players. So you may come across some very steep competition if you do this run, but it will also kind of connect you to the best gear the fastest. So this is a spawn that I got earlier on official DayZ, and this is right next to below the airfield here. Now, you can get a lot of spawns over in this area, although they are incredibly rare in comparison to most of the eastern spawns and all these other locations. But a fairly common area that you can spawn in is Cherno, which is right here, or Prigodorki, which is right here. And all of these can be located based on these apartments. So if you see these apartments here, you could essentially do this run. Now, normally in my videos, for those of you that don't know, I always say find the ocean and put your back to it and start marching. Because you're going to get off the coast, and generally speaking, you're going to get more loot. But for this spawn, because these spawns associated with Western Cherno here, and Prigodorki, and even Western Belota way over here where I very first showed you, because all of these spawns are already on the westernmost front, we don't need to push into the map to get fresh loot. Instead, we could keep pushing further to the west in an area where no other players have spawned and get some really good loot. So the first thing I'm going to recommend is if you do this loot run, okay, Belota airfield, this whole area here is not something that I would recommend looting. It's not going to have a good deal of things for you. The best thing you're maybe going to get is a working 1911. And ultimately, the risk versus reward for this area is really great. You're going to get a lot of zombies attacking you, and especially for newer players, you're going to want to look to places that you can easily secure loot instead of really struggling to get it through a horde of zombies. So I recommend skipping below the airfield, but something that we're going to be doing if we're ever doing this run is when we're running through, we're going to hit the Belota well. And that is at the very end of Belota. So there's the Belota airfield over there. And here's the Belota town. This greenhouse has a well right outside of it right here, in between the red and the green. The last houses in Belota. And this is a very common well. So something that I would normally do is I would even skip this well if I thought I had enough water, because we're going to find another well just a little further down the road. And the cool thing about this too is the whole run up until we get to Kamenka military, we're going to be using the coast as our guiding principle. So if we're ever lost, like you're running around in here and you've maybe lost your way, you just got to look and figure out which way you think the coast is. Is it on top of those mountains over there? Probably not, right? Coast is probably over here in the low ground. So we can use that as a tool to help guide us on our way. But let's say you looted through all this, you're probably going to get some food here. I always think of this location as a spot that kind of tells me what I can expect moving forward. Because after this location, we're going to be funneled in like a channel, if you will, of a loot path. And if this spot has been picked dry, we may anticipate something similar moving forward. So we may have to divert from the plan a little bit. But as you see, a lot of zombies spawn over here in the center of the town. So what I normally do to avoid that entirely is I loot up here on the top side. So if we're looking at it from below the airfield there, I loot on these top houses here. And then when I get down here where the street is, I run to the right. So I just avoid those zombies entirely. They spawn at the city or at the crossroad here. And in general, you maybe will get one or two over on this side, but a way less densely populated area. But as we push out, we're going to be pushing west. And something to keep an eye on, there's a lot of boat spawns down here. So you can always just find a random boat on the coast. But as we're keeping going, you want to keep out of the swamp here, and you want to focus on the road. I'm a little sick, so I apologize if it's a little nasally. I'm insecure about it right now. I'm not going to lie. But we're going to come up to another town here. Camarovo, is that what it is? Yeah, Camarovo. Camarovo. And this place has another well. So I just want you to process for a second how close that is. Here's the well for Belota. Right there. And then just over these trees right here is another well. That's why I say we can skip this first well if we feel like we need to. But we hit another well here. Generally speaking, you're going to find mostly civilian, like little petty items here, like small things. But there is a police station, which is really huge. Not only because we're going to be able to get armor from the police station itself, but also because we're going to be able to get police zombies. So here I got a shotgun. I'm just going to pick stuff up as I go to give you guys a sort of idea for the loot pool that you're going to get from like the military and the police areas. So as we go through, we got some 5.56 there. Boom, I got a police vest. I bet you, because this is a completely fresh loot spawn, so keep in mind no one else has looted through this, so you may be finding way less loot on your loot run. I'm just trying to get you an idea for the loot that can spawn in the different locations, okay? So we got a bunch of pistols. Some of them are going to come with mags, obviously, if we're lucky. But you're probably going to get a shotgun here. And that's about it. So, most importantly, though, what we are looking for while we are here is this location is going to get us a police vest. That is what we want. Armor is incredibly important as we push forward. And that's why this run is so good. It gives us, like, potential for police vests and plate carriers as we push forward. So, once we're done here, we're going to be pushing west again, of course, because we're using the shoreline here. Boom, we got a boat. Like I said, there's boats all over this coastline. Okay, but when we get to this hill right here, across from it is the police prison island, sorry. And this is a really great location to loot. Now, something that I like to think about though is when I have two options of loot, I want to loot the one that's going to get me more riches, right? But something that I always do is, like, if I was running this path and let's say when I got here, I knew that players were here, I would divert my path over to the prison island because it's more than likely the players are going to take the main run that I'm showing you here down the road further. But so if you think someone's ahead of you or you think you're tailing someone and you have adequate food, because you're not going to find food or water over here, but we just took care of the water, right? You can come over here to the prison island. Now, something for the prison island, you obviously are going to loot all of this stuff over here. This is all going to be good loot. But the main area that you're going to be wanting to loot in here is going to be this building right here. And you're not going to loot upstairs. Upstairs doesn't have any loot. But this downstairs area here is juicy, juicy, juicy. You can find a scout here. A lot of police gear tier 1. So we have, but it's military too. See, we got BDU pants. We got a little buttstock that ain't gonna help us, but we see armor down here. So if you didn't get an opportunity for armor earlier, if you're feeling like maybe there are people up ahead, we got a belt, we got Gorka helmet, we got 76239, we got a bison. Put some of this stuff on just so you guys could start to feel the loot progression. But as you can see, a lot of loot spawns here. Also in the back we have another scorpion there. A fresh armor. Boom, son. Upgrade. And these last rooms can give really good stuff too. Particularly, for some reason, I always get juiced in here. Handcuffs. I was looking for those literally all day today on stream. As we go to the back, we have barrack, and that's about it. You also can come up here on top, and you will find different little tidbits up here. You can find like a gun. Sometimes, there we go. We got a shotgun here. But in general, those are the only places you're going to find stuff in here. There are a couple rooms up here that you can find loot in, but it's going to be really minimal, and it's kind of difficult to navigate to. So just try and navigate to those places that I showed you there as quick as you can and get off this island, because your food's going to be ticking down. To the main run here. Let's say you weren't tailing anyone and you didn't feel like you were behind someone. First off, you can maybe take this boat if it had a... It doesn't have a spark plug in it. Sad day. But we're going to keep going down the road here. And normally what I do if I am not going to the prison island is when I get out of this police station at Camarovo, I just don't turn here and I go up the hill. And this essentially just shoots you straight over the mountain and makes it a shorter run for you. And now we are at Kamenka. And the beautiful thing about Kamenka, once again, right by the bar, a well. So do you see, like, every well in this line, you could skip one and hit the next one. So if you're ever like, I'm concerned that there may be someone behind me and I need to get further from them, or I think someone may be camping this one, you could just go to the next one. So here we are at Kamenka. There's not really much to say about Kamenka, the city itself, other than you can get a heli crash right up here, right in this field. So keep your eye out for that. Obviously you will be because you're running through Kamenka, but you're going to find a lot of food here. Uh, the main building I would be really focused on while in Kamenka is this guy right here, the storefront. And we are going to keep pushing west. And now we are coming up to the edge of the map, the end of the map here. And as we push west, this here gas station and supermarket is going to be your marker that you're on the right path, okay? So after we've rode the coast all the way over here, we're hitting the supermarket. We are now going to Kamenka Military. And not only is Kamenka Military good because this is tier 2 military, you can find plate carriers here. But also alongside that, in these cars right here, you are going to find a lot of food. All right, I found exactly 0 pieces of food. But now we're at Kamenka Military. And the main thing I want to say about Kamenka Military is it's the best. All right. Like, it's low traffic because it's all the way in the corner. There's nothing else. There's the edge of the map right there, just to give you an idea. There's nothing else really around here. So people seldom travel here, but people do travel here. It's not like a freebie. So when you come in, always get overwatch from the trees. If you're coming in from the coastline, try and peer in, look at zombie aggro, see if any zombies are spazzing. But let's look at what kind of gear we're going to get here. Oh, that's a mag for my gun. Now we ball. I used to say that you couldn't find a plate carrier here until one time I found a plate carrier here and I went, okay, well, I'm gonna shut up now. The main thing you're gonna be looking for here, like the juiciest juice you could possibly get, is gonna be that good old SKS, baby. You can find it here. Ooh, baby, maybe an AK-74U as well. But generally, I find them over here on these guys is where I'm finding the best stuff. Camo nets. Got a nice backpack here. Some ammo up there. M65 jacket looking huge. The reason why I used to say there's no plate carriers that spawn here is because there's no plate carrier zombies that I've seen that spawn here. But I did find a plate carrier right here. So I don't know. And it was on completely like fresh vanilla white server. No one played on it, nothing like that. But so pretty good loot here. It's going to essentially get you the gun or a gun that you need to continue your journey, right? It's going to equip you in a way that allows you to push forward. Now, once you are done at Kamenka, you are pretty much already good to go. There is a river that's just right here, and you could follow this up all the way to the hunting compound, and I'll show you that really quick. So if we just follow the river, it's going to take us to this city, which is always juiced up, and then it's going to take us to the hunting cabins here. All right, so that's one easy loot path that you can take, and if you already have a knife and maybe even a fishing rod, there are a bunch of fishing boats on your way to Kamenka Military. You probably have enough materials to go fishing. So this stream can not only act as a navigation tool, but it also can be a means to food and water if you have the chlorine tablets. But the main loot path that you're going to want to take, for those of you that are a little more like, I want the juice, I'm going to go to the action-packed areas, what we're going to do after we're done here, we're going to haul butt back over here, and we're just going to run to the back side of this. Think of the supermarket, this corner here. Let me put myself here. This corner here, you want to like put yourself right here, aiming straight out, and you want to blast. Pew! And what this is going to do, by the way, when you start this, double click Alt. So you can move W and L, or sorry, W and D, but you won't move off your line, right? You're going to stay in a straight, and you could free look at the same time. But what this is going to do is it's going to shoot you through a bunch of woods over here to Pavlovo. It's a perfect run. If you run straight from that corner and you just blast straight and you don't turn at all, you're going to get to Pavlovo. But it may be difficult for some of you, so I'm going to also give you this little loot path, if you will. We're going to run back over to Kamenka City. And we're going to cross right here, and we're going to follow this road. Okay? So back to Kamenka City. Here we are at the supermarket again. We're going to go down the road. And then right when we get to the opening, Kamenka City starting, we're going to turn left, go across the open field, and ride the road. And this is just going to take us on a longer path to the same location. Boom, Pavlovo military. The problem with this area is constantly consumed in toxic gas, as you can see right here. All right. So we can't go to Pavlovo military. So that's why I try and get us to skip that little backtrack going to the city here. We can look at it all right here. There's the supermarket, right? You could ride that road over and then grab that road up. And then that will take us to the city there. Or you could just go to the supermarket, be a risk taker, shoot it straight through. That'll take you right to this industrial here. Now, Pavlovo City has not much to offer other than a well right here. So if we look at the church, it's just across the street from the church, in between the houses there. But what Pavlovo does for us is, one, it has a couple helicopter crashes over in this area. 1 or 2 right here, if I'm not mistaken. And it leads us to Zelenogorsk, which is probably the most hot, spicy military area in the entire map. The most trafficked, in my opinion, and in my experience over many, many years of playing. But we're just going to take this main road. As you see, we came in from that side down there. We take this main road. Meow. And as we ride it, it's just going to take us over the hill to Zelenogorsk military. And Zelen, I mean, I've already talked about this area in other guides, but Zelen is a tricky monster because when you come into the military area, you're going to be exposed, right? The only way you can't be exposed, really, is by going down here in the low ground, which feels super exposed, but it's probably the least exposed you can be. You're going to be seen, right? If someone was up on that hill and they were looking through the valley, you're going to see me right here, but you're going to see me anywhere I enter this place, right? The other entrance that a lot of people do is this valley right here. They're coming in from the other side, but we're going to be on this side of it, so that's not really going to work for us. You can also come up into the trees and then ride through the apple orchard, but once again, you're going to have to expose yourself for that. So what I recommend is when we come up this road here, here's Pavlovo, just to backtrack. Here's Pavlovo. We go up this road here. And then when it starts getting over and we're going to start seeing Zelen, we just cut down into the trees here. And that is going to allow us access to Zelenogorsk military here. And Zelen is the juice. Let's go take a look. Let's go take a gander really quick. I have ignore all zombies, so the zombies won't even see me. But there are 2 sort of areas to Zelen military. The upper area right here, which is normally where I find my plate carrier, and the lower area or the train yard down here. And both of them are juiced, okay? But if you don't have a plate carrier, which if you've done this run and you didn't find one at Kamenka, you weren't lucky enough, you're going to want to find a plate carrier first. And generally speaking, I find those almost always somewhere around the police station. Or sorry, the fire station. So if we just take a gander here, let me try and find it. Let's see if we can find it here. Nope. Nope, not that guy. Nope. There should be 2 of them almost every time. 1 in the fire station. That one's pristine too. Remember, if you fight these guys, don't fight them with a knife. When you find the plate carrier, you're not going to want to fight it with a blade. You're going to want to fight it with your bare hands. So normally what I would do, because there are a lot of zombies here, you're going to want to isolate that plate carrier. So if you saw it, you're going to want to poke it out and bring it out to the outside. Get it isolated in a location, close the door with only you in it, and then fight it up. But let's talk about the military a little bit. These industrial sheds here are full of juicy loot. The only problem with this area right here is this like channel is like Death Alley. A lot of people camp here. They wait for people in this location, and they end up getting the best of them in this location. So I'm not saying don't loot here, but when you do, operate quickly with haste and move on through. When we talk about lower, the train yard area, I mean, you feel super at risk here, and you are exposed in a lot of different ways, like over to this tree line particularly. But so I feel as though so long as you keep moving in this area and you're quick through here, you're not spending time. So this wouldn't be a place to like close both of the doors and transfer your loot and be like, I don't feel like I want that anymore. We're going to want to do that somewhere else, right? When we're in here, we're going to want to move fast. Another thing that a lot of people don't realize about this area is these train cars right here are all military loot as well. So I got a Vega mag right there, little bayonet. Vega mag again, a bunch of ammo, C mag, AK-74 mag, Vega. Just trying to give you an idea for what you can look for here. As you can see though, all of these have like 2 to 3 loot spawns in them. Another Vega there, grenade, AK-74 mag. A lot of really good stuff. Plate carrier pouches in case you didn't find them earlier. And all of these are going to have loot too. So get on this guy, check inside of all of these. Boom, boom, boom. Look at that little UMPC. Alongside this, all of the industrials nearby, so all of the industrials within the confines of this area are all going to have the juicy military loot as well. So you're going to want to hit just about everything that's in this area right here, in this window and down in the train yard. When I told you earlier that when you finish at Kamenka, you could follow the river up and that will get you to the hunting cabins, we can also now go to those hunting cabins. So let's say you had just finished looting everything. Everyone is gonna, you could pretty much go any way from here. Zelenogorsk is a hub. It's like a center connecting point in the advanced military zones, if you will, in the southwest. And it kind of like intersects every way. We can go to the northeast over here, over to Green Mountain, and get pretty good loot. And if you wanted to do that, you would just look at the military and you would go to the side of the city from the military and keep going. And there we go. We see Green Mountain. But the run that I like to do and the one that I like to keep to, and that's really the focus of this, is down this way. So we're actually going to, any way that we can, we're going to ride out this direction. And oh, look at that. Heli crash. They're all over the place down here. It's like heli crash aisle. But we're going to ride out this direction. And our goal is to actually ride these train tracks out here. And when the train tracks go through the trees here, they're going to be right by this road. So normally how I go about doing this, because I try and be as safe as possible, is I ride down into these trees, ride these train tracks all the way around here. And then when I get way over here, I will start connecting to the right when I'm out of sight of the town. But the whole goal is for us to just be at the military. We're looking away from the town. So we're going the opposite way and exiting. This is to the northwest. And we're trying to go with this railroad. This railroad is like our sort of marker here. And as we follow this around, we see it connects to the same hunting cabins that we were talking about earlier. So whether or not you take this loop path or you take just riding this river all the way from the gas station down there, whichever one you decide, they're both going to end you right here. And the reason why this place is so juicy is this is Optic City. So you're going to find your hunting scopes and you're going to find your 308 ammo, your 7.6239. Got some chlorine tablets for you. There's a hunting scope right there. This is going to be a really great location to kind of equip us with a long range rifle. Bunch of ammo too. 7.6239 right there. 7.6239 again. This place is juicy. So if you're coming through here and you're not seeing much loot, which is going to be pretty common. A lot of people run through this area. This is a highly trafficked area because of how many optics you can find. So once you finish looting this entire place, you got your optic, you got your ammo, you got everything you need to really define your equip at this point. We're going to look at the dam and we're going to go the opposite direction. So we're going to look at the dam and we're going to go the opposite direction up the river. This is to the north now. So we are going away from the dam to the north. And what we're going to be looking for as we head, I'm going to do it in like person form so that you guys could see it because it can be quite tricky. What we're going to be looking for is a bunch of tiny trees. And I know what you're thinking. Well, here's a bunch of tiny trees, but I'm talking a lot of tiny trees. Heli crash over there for us. Boom. Look at all these tiny trees. It almost looks like this place was lodged at a point, right? Those trees are like barren over there. And now we're going to head up. And this is going to lead us to Mishkino Military. And here we are at like the high tier loot. we're going to be finding good stuff here. I mean, it's not tier 4, but it's the good stuff. We got 7.62. We got a Bison with a mag. I mean, you can find that anywhere, actually. But we should be finding like AK-74, AK-101 mags. Should be finding bigger things. PSO, come on, baby. Treat me right. Treat me right. SK should definitely be here. There's an SK for us. 545, 545, 308. Alongside this, we're going to be finding another plate carrier here. There should be 1 or 2 here. There's also going to be a screamer. So something that you could do. Let's say it here. I'm going to remove ignore by creatures. Let's say you aggroed all the zombies in the world. The problem with this location is that there are no doors to close any zombies in beyond the cargo shed over there on the right. So normally what happens is in these locations where there are a lot of zombies and there are no doors, when we can't lock them in or we can't lock ourselves behind a door and hit them, we can get in a really dire situation really quickly. So I'm just going to show you. Let's say you shot at some zombies and you were like, oh no, oh no, oh no, I need to do something. We're going to run over here to the only camo net that's here, and we're going to jump up on these. We may take a couple hits there, but we're just going to go right here on the back side of the camo net. Now, you can use these 2 different locations to bring them in here, or if you're standing on this one, it'll bring them outside. So watch, they're all going to rotate outside. And I prefer doing this outside, but you can also just do it inside. You can just punch them there. But when we go here, you can just boop, boop, boop. And it's like, I'm really against doing this in general, but in this particular location, this feels like the safest way to really navigate it, because you are going to come across a screamer zombie, as you see right there. And if you don't have an MK2 to shoot him in the head, it's very likely that they're going to get you, and they're going to aggro every zombie in the world. And what being right here kind of allows us to do is all of the sniper spots aren't going to be able to see us, really. Like, imagine. You know what I mean? I can't even process that. So it's allowing us to deal with all the zombies with ease and not have to put ourselves through a world of hurt while we do it. But this is Mishkino. After this, it's really no longer a loot run. You could go any way you want. You could keep going up the river here and end up over by Northwest Airfield, La Patino and such, and Tricresta. Or you could go to the northeast over here and go to Vereznik or so many other locations. I just wanted to give this because this is the most common loot path I've taken in all my years in the game, and I realized I've never done a guide on it. So I was like, I'm trespassing on my homies. I'm not treating them right. So that's going to be it for this guide. I just want to say thank you guys, every single one of you, for tuning into the channel, for enjoying the content, for giving me honest feedback and letting me know that it's connecting with you. And it's really, like, honestly, I'm a little bit sick right now, but I'm like amazed with all the love that we're getting. It's changed my life, and I really care about all of you guys. Be good to each other out there. Or don't.